It's Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports. It's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports. Time to change your approach with Aaron Holderman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show. We're back. We're a day late, but we've got a big show coming up for you. We got a great night going on in sports. Before we get to it, though, Papa Dude, you're back from vacation. How are we feeling? Are you refreshed?
No, I'm exhausted, but I'm going to get through this. Yeah, it was a very short vacation. We jammed a lot into 4 days and a lot of driving. And anyway, I went to Colorado to a place called Estes Park. And if you've never been there, people, just for the scenery, you got to go. Aaron's been, he knows how beautiful it is. It's absolutely stunning. And this time of the year, the elk, and this is what this town is known for. There's thousands and thousands of elk because it's the gateway to Rocky Mountain National Park, which is full of elk. And they're right down in the middle of town this time of the year. I mean, they literally stop traffic. Yep. And they were everywhere because it's the middle of the mating season when the males are gathering up the females. And it is the most, if you like wildlife, it's the most awesome thing. We have some of the most incredible videos. This was one of the best trips I've ever had going out there. They were just everywhere.
Yeah, this time of year, it's crazy out there. Yeah. Like you said, you don't need to go into the national park that's just right there at the town. You just go in town, and there they all are, and they're like I said, they're all over the place. Yeah, it's a great place, no doubt. It's been a while since I've been. So,
yeah,
seeing those videos, I need to go back soon.
Well, I haven't been in the fall in a long time, which it is the best time. But I'm not kidding. You literally can almost touch them.
Yeah.
Now they're wild animals, and we found out we have some video of people that almost get killed.
Yeah.
You can't, they're so close to you and they look friendly that you just lose your respect for the fact that they're a wild animal and they are dangerous. Mm-hmm. That's how close you can get to them. There were several where we just stopped and they were right in the middle of the road. You just roll the window down and you literally can touch them almost. I mean, I try to do that, but you can literally get that close to them. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they're incredible. And like I said, they're all over that town this time of year. Really all sorts of times of the year they're there. So yeah, pretty fun. But it's good to have you back. Like I said, a little short trip. He wasn't gone long. So back and ready to go. Like I said, we've got a huge sports night tonight. If you're joining us, I'm sure you got your eye on some other things going on as well. Of course, us in the forefront and maybe the other stuff in the background. But college football in full force. Houston and Tulane going at it. UTSA and Middle Tennessee about to kick off. San Diego State and Boise. We've got a ranked matchup with Washington and UCLA. We're going to talk about that in just a second. And New Mexico, UNLV. You also have the Braves and the Mets starting a 3-game series tonight. 1 game separates those two teams for the division. And also, if you're a Yankees guy or a guy or a fan of history, I should say too, Aaron Judge trying to get a home run number 62. He struck out just a minute ago in his first attempt. So it's jam-packed, isn't it?
It is jam-packed. And I'm telling you, these college games tomorrow, there are some awesome matchups. And then the NFL, good luck with trying to pick those this week. I've been a little bit out of touch, and I was glancing at them. Good night. There's some toughies. There always are. But, yeah, this is going to be a fun weekend, and starting off with tonight for sure.
Before we get into the games,
okay,
did you watch, or I guess maybe not, I know you couldn't watch a lot of it, but did you see the Tua situation from last night?
Well, I did, and I've heard a lot of press conferences today. I don't know. I didn't see the actual play when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I did see him when he got hurt the other day. I don't know what to think on this. Do you? Do you think he should have played?
Who do you believe? I mean, I believe my eyes, and it definitely looked like he got a concussion on Sunday. And if that's the case, absolutely not. No way, no how should he have played. No. They are swearing up and down he did not get a concussion Sunday.
Well, I heard that. I don't know whether you heard the head coach today.
Mm-hmm, I did.
And he swore up and down, and then I think it was the offensive coordinator I heard also that they checked him out after the game Sunday and basically was cleared by the team doctors for concussion purposes.
Right.
He had a bad back and a leg, I think, is what they were worried about.
Mm-hmm.
And then they swore up and down all through the week in preparation and in team meetings and going over the plays and the game plan and all that. There was absolutely no sign of him having any concussion issues.
Mm-hmm.
So if you believe that, and in today's rules and protocol, concussion protocol, this is hard to believe that he played on as quick a turnaround as Thursday. But now I don't know about the hit, you know? I mean, anybody can get a concussion on that hit last night. Are you there?
What? Okay, I'm back. What happened there?
I don't know. You just disappeared. Anyway, and you went off the screen down there at the bottom too. But what I was saying, I don't know if I'll just repeat it for you.
Go ahead.
I mean, anybody could get a concussion on the hit that he got last night.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, last night for sure. Yeah, but it's incredible to think that they would have played him, but at the same time, like everybody in my text chain when it happened on Sunday was like, "Well, that's a concussion, like no question."
The way his head hit the ground.
Yeah, well, the way he got up and then he fell down, it's like, "Oh shit, it's a concussion."
Yeah.
Then he was going to play Thursday. They said it on the Thursday show. So I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Anyway, as it turns out, it was bad. It was scary. I was scared. I was like,
yeah, you texted me and
I was yelling at Heather. I said, "Come here," because Heather knows a little bit about the human body, and I said, "What is happening? What is this?" And of course, she calmly explained exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes a response to a head injury or a spinal injury. Is just that it looked. I texted the group and I was like, it looks like he was like possessed, like his fingers were going all different directions. It was insane.
He didn't even spend the night in the hospital.
No, and so obviously he's fine. I mean, as far as he's not gonna have like long-term injuries from this.
Evidently not. He was on that plane ride home. And they were talking to him on the plane ride, and everybody was thrilled that he was okay, and he seemed perfectly normal. That's what I heard in the press conference today. Now, again, who do you believe? But with the emphasis that's been put on concussions, you have to think that the team doctors thought he was all right, wouldn't you?
I have to believe that, but I don't know. This is an odd thing. There's going to be an investigation into this.
There has to be, with the emphasis that the league has put on, all leagues, all levels of football, have tried to limit concussions.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just so odd. It's, like you said, it's so odd that this is going on.
If you watch that game to start, he didn't look right. I didn't think the whole game, and then of course when that happened, it was crazy.
And I was hearing a couple of former players talking about it too, and they said, you give a competitor, a player, the choice of whether he can play or not. He's going to say he can play.
Mm-hmm.
You don't give him that choice.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. And what would another week have mattered? I don't know. The Dolphins are doing some funny things. Last year the owner wanted them to throw games, lose on purpose, and they didn't. And then the coach called him out on that. So there's some weird stuff going on down there. But with the way this is today and lawsuits and all of that kind of stuff that's so out there, you got to think the team doctors of the Dolphins are in big trouble at the moment.
They got to be. So, and you said it, there's two things to kind of summarize this whole thing. One, you got to have a guy telling these guys they can't play. Right. Most competitors are going to try to play. And if you're a player, or in this case, if you're if you got a son or daughter that's a player, granddaughter, grandson, if they're hurt, don't get them out of there. Nothing good comes from playing hurt. Nothing.
Because they're going to want to play.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield's a prime example of that. He should not have played last year.
No.
And he did. But this is with, again, I've said this about 10 times, but it's all the emphasis that has been put on eliminating concussions and all of the news about how these former players that have played football for a long time, when they get the age of 50 or 60, they have these head injuries begin to surface and they lose their memory and they don't know where they are at a very young age. And the new rules of tackling where you can't lead with your head and all of that kind of stuff, that's trickled down all the way, anyway, all the way to Pee-wees, all the way to Mighty Might football. And at the high school level, I know they've had to completely change how they tackle.
Mm-hmm.
You can't lead with your head and all of that. And all of the, if you ever see footage of them practicing football, these helmets have got this padding on the top of them now.
Yeah.
So all of that is these guys are in trouble. They've got to be, unless they have the evidence from whatever test they showed that he was okay.
Yeah. Well, and Dennis says it's not, you got to take it out of the player's hands. That's what we're saying too. And that's the end of the discussion. There's a guy, a doctor, a medical trained, maybe there's a couple, and they make the call, and that's it. There's no debating it after that. So
I'll tell you
we'll see what the evidence tells us. We just don't know yet.
And, even at the high school level, one of the changes that I saw I was out of coaching for several years and then went back. Every high school now has a trainer. Mm-hmm. Now, they're not employed by the school. They're employed by, I don't even know what it's called, but it's from a hospital in the job in the Springfield area. Yeah. And they come to the school twice a week, and they're at the games. There's somebody at every game. And if they tell you that the kid can't play, you just go with it. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. So it's helped coaches a little bit in that regard, that a trainer will tell you whether or not that kid can play.
Well, and
it helps.
At a high school level, you need that. You need somebody covering your ass, because you're not qualified to make that call. No. At college and NFL, you got all kinds of people on that staff that can help you. But in college or in high school, you're kind of by yourself, especially in smaller schools. So and that's. Listen, the NFL has that. So whatever happened here, somebody screwed up. They do. So we're going to find out. And who knows? They may get to cover it up like a lot of things, but this doesn't look great, I don't think. All right, let's move on. Let's get to what people really want to talk about. That's the gambling aspect. We're going to start the game that's going to come up here in about 3 hours. We got a doozy to kick off this. We've already got it kicked off this weekend, but a doozy to kick off the ranked matchups. Washington 4-0 at UCLA 4-0. Really, really good game here. What do you think? I know what you think, but tell the people what you think about this one.
Well, I think it's a game between two teams that have a lot to prove tonight. Now, Washington has a very good win. They beat Michigan State like a drum, but how good is Michigan State? I don't think they're real good.
That's the thing. It's not that good a win right now.
No, it's not. And so I don't know how good they are. The thing that bothers me a little bit, I picked UCLA because I love their offense and I love their quarterback, and I think they are pretty good, and they're at home. Thing is, they don't have much of a home field advantage. I don't know what kind of crowd this will attract. I read the other day where they had drawn like 90,000 fans total for their home games so far this year.
Yeah,
that's not very good. I went with UCLA tonight because they're at home. They've got a lot to prove. I love their quarterback, and I just don't know how good Washington is.
Well, we disagree, and that's not good because this was your best bet for the show tonight, or for Dudes Who Bet Daily. But I picked Washington. I think it's close. I think Penix is a little bit better than Robinson, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. I really like Washington's offense now that Penix is there. So I went Washington. I think it's going to be a great game. You hit on it. What will the crowd be like at UCLA tonight? The first 3 games they had at home, they may have said there was 30,000 people there. There wasn't 5.
Yeah.
So 5,000, I'm saying. So what will that be like tonight? Can they get 30, 40,000 people in there? Can they get any kind of atmosphere? I think it's going to be a big key because this is a very, very good game. So we'll see. Yeah, let's talk about this. Dennis says it's going to be a shootout. The over-under 65. They've been scoring both these teams. What do you think? Is it going to be back and forth tonight?
I think so. I almost went with the over. I can see 38-35, 38-31, something along those lines. I do think both teams are going to score. I know UCLA is going to have to score a bunch of points to win.
Yeah.
So, and they have. They've shown they can score. So I do. I think this is going to be a really good game.
I lean with you and Dennis too. I mean, I'll just read off here. Washington has scored 45, 52, 39, and 40. UCLA has scored 45, 45, 32, and 45. Now, the opponents have not been fantastic for any of these teams, for either of these teams, but they're showing that capability. They can put up points. Defensively, I don't think either one of them's great. And that's probably going to make the difference. Whoever's defense can step up and get a couple stops. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. We're on opposite sides, but listen, it's going to be a good game. There's no doubt about it.
Yes, it will.
All right, let's move on to the Saturday slate here. Oklahoma tries to bounce back. They go to TCU to take on the Horned Frogs. They're 3-0. They have not played anybody yet. We don't really know. From a stats perspective, their stats are great. But, again, they haven't really matched up with anybody. So, what do you think? What do you think about OU? Will they bounce back in this spot?
I have no idea what to think. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We're going to get some questions answered for sure. The thing that we've seen so far in the Big 12 that surprised us, the league is pretty good top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
The league's better overall than what I thought it was going to be, which has made this a very treacherous situation for an Oklahoma team that we knew wasn't great. Now every game is going to be tough. And when you're young and inexperienced like they are and not quite as good on offense as they have been, every game is tricky. So heard all this talk, from last week. The defense did not do what they were supposed to do. They were out of position. They played awful. Is that what it was, or are they not very good? We're going to find out because TCU's offense has been clicking, but like you said, they have played absolutely nobody. I think OU's a little better. They play well at TCU. They normally go down there and play very well. They'll have a lot of fans there. 5.5. I don't know. I think that's a treacherous line. I could see this being 3 points.
I'm staying away from it overall because I just don't have any idea.
I don't either.
What TCU is. I kind of think I know what Oklahoma is. If TCU, the TCU we've seen the last couple of years, OU will beat.
Yes.
But, new coach, and they're moving the ball pretty well. If they're improved offensively, you're going to see a really close game. So the bet, in my opinion, goes to TCU. OU's a little bit better than what they played last week. They're not as good as what they were the first 3 weeks. They're somewhere in the middle. And, I think TCU, I just don't know. Like, Colorado is one of the worst teams.
Yes.
Tallerton State, obviously a lower level. And SMU, was a good win for them, but they have no defense whatsoever. So, oddly enough, and you don't say this much about teams that are playing Oklahoma, but this is the best defense TCU has seen so far.
Yeah.
That's the question mark.
I guess. But, the thing that worries all of us, I don't care how well coached you are and how well schooled you are and how well prepared you are. If you're not very good, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And are we any good on defense? I don't know. I think we're better than we played last week.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So I think our offense will be all right. We're going to score some points. I'm worried about that over under. I'm afraid if it gets over that, we're going to lose.
Yeah, I would kind of agree. It's gonna be interesting. Like I said, I'm gonna stay away. If I had to bet it, I would take TCU because I think it's gonna get tight.
Yeah.
And we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, Iowa and Michigan. And before we get into it, Dennis says I like Michigan minus 10.5. They like blowing opponents out. And last week got a little bit of a scare, and now they're back against an Iowa team here that has been lackluster to say the least. 10.5 points here for this Michigan at Iowa game. Can Michigan go on the road and cover this one?
Well, if they don't, are they any good?
I will say I am betting Michigan. I would be shocked if they don't cover this.
Me too. I was getting a little better like they always do, but how can they? Does that game last week bother you, Michigan and Maryland?
Yeah, it does a little bit, but I feel like what happened last week, Michigan played 3 of the worst teams maybe ever in Division I football.
That's true.
And I think they got hit in the mouth, and I don't think they were quite ready. And then once they woke up, they kind of took care of business a little bit. But now that they got that game under their belt, I think they'll be ready for Iowa.
Well, I will take Michigan also in this one because I think they can shut Iowa completely down. I just don't see how Iowa can score more than 14 points on them, which means Michigan's only got to get 26, 27. So I'm going to go with Michigan to cover that also.
Yeah, I think they're going to. I don't see how they don't. Honestly, I mean, if they, and like you said, if they don't, they're not very good.
Right?
You got to go to Iowa and beat them by more.
You have to
this year for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Got a great game here. I think this is going to be a great game. Kentucky goes to Ole Miss. Another battle of 4-0 teams here. Ole Miss, it kind of like TCU in a way. They've played a little bit better opponents than that, but you don't really know what they are. They haven't played much. Kentucky's got a big win at Florida. Ole Miss, 6.5-point favorite. Dennis says Ole Miss is a 7-point favorite in some of the other books and lines. What do you think? What's going to happen here in Oxford?
Well, here's the thing. You got number 7 against number 14. I realize it's at number 14. But shouldn't that line be like 3? If
That's what I think.
The favorite?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And only because they're at home? If the other team's 7 and they're 14. It doesn't make any sense to me. These rankings are so stupid. I picked Kentucky. I never even hesitated. I think they're better than Mississippi. The key will be, can they win this kind of game on the road? And they're a basketball school. Can they do it? But they beat Florida at Florida. That's enough for me. Mississippi may be a little better than Florida. I think Kentucky wins the game. I really do. So I'm going Kentucky all the way in this one.
I picked Kentucky straight up as well. So obviously I'm taking the 6.5. Dennis is on Kentucky as well. And Dennis, I feel it. It does kind of feel like Vegas wants you to take Kentucky here in the spot. I don't care. I'm going to take them. I'm with you. I don't know about Ole Miss.
No.
It's not going to shock me at all if they win. Let me get that out of the way.
No.
But I don't know how good they are. Kentucky, I've got a pretty good idea what they are. I don't think they're the number 7 team in the country. Okay. But I think they're solid as hell. And I think the quarterback's good. And that's what you need. You got a good defense. You got a decent quarterback. I think they can go on the road and beat a team like Ole Miss.
Yeah. Well, the psychological part of this, which is a huge part in college football. Psychologically, they went into Florida and won, right?
Yep.
In that, even though Florida's been down a little lately, isn't that in your mind a harder place to go win than Mississippi?
Yeah, and Florida was coming off a huge win against Utah. They were believing they were pretty good, and Florida might still be okay. I mean, they've lost 2 tough games, but yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like that was a huge win. I feel like that crowd is going to be, well, I don't know, Ole Miss, this will be a wild crowd too.
This will be a big game for them.
Yeah, but they went into a similar atmosphere and won. So,
they did. And Florida's a lot better than anybody Mississippi's played. So
yeah.
I am a little shocked at that line.
Yep. Yeah, I am too. Well, we'll see. Maybe it's a trap. We'll find out at 11 a.m. on Saturday. All right, Purdue and Minnesota. Listen, I think this is another really interesting game. Minnesota's undefeated. They're now ranked. Purdue's lost 2 games, 2 heartbreakers, 2 games they could have won. Minus 11.5 for Minnesota. What do you think?
That's a lot of points.
Too many.
I like Minnesota a lot. Here's the thing. Here's another team. They're not used to being ranked. Can they handle the pressure of being ranked against a pretty good team with a good quarterback? I'm taking Minnesota to win, but I'll take Purdue in the points.
100%. I totally agree. I'm taking the Purdue plus the 11.5. I do think Minnesota wins. I will say this. Purdue is better than 2-2. They're going to beat somebody they shouldn't.
Yep.
It could be this week. Minnesota, these are the type of games. It's like, oh, they're rolling, and then they lose one like this. So I've got them on upset alert. I'm going to take Purdue in the points. I do think Minnesota squeaks out a close game. All right, let's go to this one now. Texas Tech and Kansas State. K-State, big win last week, obviously against the Sooners. Now they host Texas Tech, who, guess what, had a big win last week against Texas. It's a letdown game for both, in a way.
Absolutely.
I think it's great. The K-State's at home for this one. 7.5-point favorite. That's a lot, though. What do you think?
Well, the first thing I think is, why is Kansas State ranked?
Great question. It's because OU carries way too much weight.
I guess they do. They beat Oklahoma, so you rank them after they lose to Tulane, who loses to Southern Mississippi. Then that makes a lot of sense. When I saw they were ranked over Kansas, which is undefeated, and I don't think they should be ranked either, I couldn't believe it. There's somebody slipping my mind that's undefeated that I had in mind that should be ranked. But anyway.
UCLA, probably.
Yeah, that's the one. Absolutely. Yeah. So 7.5. I think that's too many points.
Yeah.
Again, they're both coming off big wins. You probably got to go with the home team coming off the big win over the team that's on the road. And that would be my advantage that Kansas State has. I don't know if Tech's defense is good enough to stop K-State. This will be a great game, though. We're going to find out a lot about Texas Tech in this one. I do think Kansas State's pretty good, and they just had a big slip-up in that Tulane game.
Okay, a couple of things. Got the advantage. I'm sitting here watching Tulane while we're talking about this because I've got a bet on Houston. First, I'll say, Dennis, I don't necessarily disagree. 7.5 is always tricky, right? It takes that 7-point win off the table and you lose. So I hate that. This Tulane team is really good defensively. Yep. They are shutting out Houston midway through the second quarter. Not only are they shutting them out, Houston can't get hardly anything going. So they're pretty good defensively. After I'm watching Tulane in person, yeah, they're probably better than OU on defense, and that's why you saw what you saw. Kansas State was not ready for the game, no question about that. So I kind of give them a bit of a pass, all right? I think they'll kind of wake up. I think they'll get going. They're a team that does have some tradition, right? And now they got that big win, and you look at the Big 12, and it's like, yeah, they could win it. Like, everybody's kind of beatable in the Big 12 this year. There's not really a standout. I think they're going to jumpstart the season, or I think they did jumpstart the season last week. This week, I think they're going to roll. I think they're going to cover this. I'm going to go the Wildcats. Went roundabout way of saying I like the Wildcats.
Yeah.
Got tongue-tied only like 12 times. So.
Well, after what we saw last week, you have to like them. I mean, they just kicked our butts up one side and down the other on both sides of the ball.
You watch that game back. Their OU played bad. Their quarterback and their running back were special. They really were.
And great receiver too.
Yeah,
he's good.
Going to make quarterbacks look great though, so that's my only worry. But they made some really nice plays.
Well, Martinez played the best game I've ever seen him play.
Yeah,
he really played well.
When you watch the film, well, not the film, but just the replay of that game back, he threw the ball really well.
Oh, he did. They were really right on.
Yeah. Dennis, a missed targeting call for sure in the Tulane game just now. All right, let's move on here. Oregon State and Utah. We listened to the Beavers a lot last week. They had a lot of trouble moving the football. They go to Utah. Utah's got a great defense. Only 10.5. That surprised me. Did it surprise you?
Well, I think it's 10.5 because they almost beat USC.
Yeah, that's fair.
and they're pretty good.
They
Oregon's
are.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I think Utah covers late. I think that'll be a game for. Here's the thing: is Oregon State, are they still playing the USC game? Because they could have won that game, and that is a tough trip to Utah when you're not fully engaged. So I think they'll play them close for a while, but I don't think they have enough offense to keep up with them.
I kind of think it might be blowout city a little bit. I'm going to go the Utes minus 10.5. I don't think Oregon State, I think you said it, and you said it perfectly. I don't think they get back up for this game. Really tough to go on the road to Utah after you blew a game against USC. Or maybe not blew it, but just you had a great shot to beat.
You had a chance to win.
Yeah. All right, 2:30 on CBS. Alabama goes to Fayetteville. The game lost some luster with Arkansas blowing the game last week against A&M. Still going to be a wild one, and boy, it will get more wild by the second if the Razorbacks can hang in there. The question is, can they? Alabama, a 17-point favorite. Now, listen, saw them go on the road and almost got beat to Texas, could have lost that game. Texas is not very good. I think that's been shown. What about the Crimson Tide? Can they kind of right the ship, so to speak, and go on the road and get an impressive win on Saturday?
Oh boy, this is another toughie. I haven't been in town. What's the scuttlebutt? You hearing anything?
Not much. I think they're down. Honestly, I think Arkansas is down in the dumps a bit.
Well, I'm going to say this. I think it's going to be close for a while. I really do. I think the emotion. I don't know how good Alabama is yet. We don't. I think it's going to be close for a while, but I think Alabama will pull away in the second half. And I think they'll cover it late. I think we're looking 35-14, 38-17, 38-20, something in there.
I think Dennis hit it on the head. 17 is a lot of points from an Alabama team that hasn't looked great.
Right.
Yeah, they haven't looked bad. At the Texas game, they looked bad. The other games, they haven't. Arkansas's biggest problem, they really can't stop the pass, and that could be a big-time problem against Alabama.
It could.
I hate to say it. I'm taking Bama minus the 17.
I am too. For that very reason. The reason they held A&M down is because they can't throw. So I just don't think they can stop Bryce Young.
Now, last year, it was a 7-point game. It was a shootout in Alabama when Arkansas went there, 42-35. So I think that's how Arkansas covers, or, for a fan standpoint, how they stay in the game. They match them score for score. That's what they're going to have to do.
I don't think they can do it.
No, me neither. I think it's going to be a long, long day for the Hogs. Crushing loss last week. All right, Rutgers goes to Ohio State in a game nobody cares about except for the people that like Ohio State. 39-point favorites here for the Buckeyes. What do you think?
They'll cover it if they want to.
Yeah.
How about that?
I'm not touching this game.
No.
So many great games. This is not one to worry about. I think they'll cover this.
If they want to.
Yeah. Now, to me, this is the game of the weekend. Oklahoma State goes to Baylor. Oklahoma State is 3-0. Haven't played anybody yet. They look solid. Baylor's 3-1. They went on the road and beat Iowa State last week. Their only loss was an overtime loss at BYU. They're pretty darn good, especially at home and at night. So I didn't really hold that against them much. They're a 2.5-point favorite. Baylor, 2.5-point favorite here. Whew, this is going to be a battle. What do you think?
The winner of this will have the inside track to the Big 12 championship.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. This is a big one. The loser might be second best. This may be the two best teams in the Big 12 right now. We don't, like you said perfectly, we don't know for sure about Oklahoma State. They really haven't played anybody. So we don't know for sure, but they have been solid. They've had 2 weeks to get ready for this because they had last week off. I don't know if that makes any difference or not. I'd say it does at this point in the season. Baylor was very impressive up at Iowa State. We all know what Baylor is. They're tough. They're underrated. No one wants to play them. They're physical. They got skilled people. I like the line. I like the Bears to win this one.
I have a hard time going against Baylor in this one as well. This is, like you said it. I am really impressed with Dave Aranda, the coach at Baylor. He took over a pretty good team. They had a horrible COVID year, and then last year they went 12-2 and won the Big 12 and ended up winning the Sugar Bowl. This year, like I said, the loss to BYU, a game they could have won. Man, they were right there. they're a tough ass team. They're tough.
They are.
I like Baylor in this spot as well. I think they're going to get it done. But I do think Oklahoma State is a little more explosive. And I think if it gets to where it's kind of a back and forth type of game, it does favor Oklahoma State. So Baylor needs to be able to stop them. That's going to be the big key in this game. Dennis says he likes a crazy bet, plus 1,300 on the game going to overtime.
Don't bet too much. That's the only thing.
Yeah. All right. Northwestern and Penn State. Penn State a 25-point favorite. We won't talk about this one much. I think Penn State can cover it if they want to here. Northwestern's pretty bad.
They're really bad. They may be one of the worst in the country.
Yeah.
They have lost to some bad teams. So, they'll whatever they want the score to be.
Yep. Florida State and Wake Forest. This game is at Tallahassee. Florida State undefeated. They're back in the top 25. Wake Forest down to number 22 after a heartbreaking loss to Clemson. Can they bounce back? I kind of like Wake Forest, but can they bounce back off of that loss?
Well, that's the key. And again, look at that line, 6.5. When Wake took Clemson to the wire and could have won.
Mm-hmm.
So they're banking the fact that Vegas is that Wake is going to be a little bit down. Is Florida State that much better than them? I mean, just is that line because they're Florida State? Maybe
I think so.
I think they might win Florida State, but I'm going to take Wake Forest in the points in this one.
I took Wake Forest in the points as well. If I took Wake Forest, -6 or a +6.5 last week against Clemson, I'm taking them, and I cashed. I'm taking them +6.5 against Florida State.
Me too.
It's just that simple for me.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here. Texas A&M and Mississippi State. The Bulldogs 4-point favorites. This line surprised me a little bit, even though Texas A&M is number 17 in the country. Both teams 3-1. What do you think?
You know where I'm going. I imagine. Don't you?
I don't know.
All right. I can't pick Mississippi State till they win some games against people like this. I just can't. Even though I think they might win this game, I can't take them because every time they come up against somebody like this, they don't win. Who was it? LSU beat them?
Yep.
That was their first chance, and LSU, I think, is better than people think they are. But they didn't win.
Yep.
And I don't believe it was even close.
Nope.
So I can't pick them until they show me. So I'm going to take Texas A&M.
Mississippi State, they're at crossroads in their season. They got back-to-back home games against Texas A&M and Arkansas. If they win them both, they got a chance to have a little bit better season than what they're used to down there.
Yes.
If they lose them, then they're going to have their normal type of season. If they split them, probably normal type of season. Call me crazy. I'm going to take Mississippi State.
Well, I hope you're right because I like them. And I hate A&M, so I hope you're right.
I don't think A&M is very good.
I
think the key to the game, did A&M beat Arkansas, or are they going to kind of get right,
Yeah.
Got that kind of a lucky win. Hard fought for sure, but got a break and won, and now we'll kind of see what happens. I don't know. We'll
Sometimes
see.
you get that.
I got faith in Mississippi State at home. They're tough at home.
Yeah. Sometimes when you get that break and you got a lot of talent, like they do, they have more talent in Mississippi State.
Yeah.
They turn it around. But at the same time, they were very lucky to beat Arkansas.
Yes. Extremely.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Georgia and Missouri. Georgia, 29-point favorite in Missouri. God, there's going to be a murder of Tigers in Columbia, Missouri. We may hear the Tigers growling all the way from Columbia here in Springfield, the Joplin area. Georgia can name the score. I think they'll beat them by 100.
I do too. It's going to be interesting to see how many people show up to see the number one team in the country. I would bet you there are 45,000 people there.
Well, they did pick up a good win. I don't know if that matters. I call it. No, they lost. I'm sorry. They lost. That's right. They blew the game. They had it. They missed a field goal to win it, and they also fumbled out of the back of the end zone. I honestly think Georgia will win 56-10. That's my prediction. If you can find an alternate line for minus like 38, tell me what it is.
The thing is, too, when you're Missouri and you lose a game like they lost at Auburn, and then you got the number one team in the country coming in, you're going to struggle to get back ready to play them.
Missouri lost 40-12 to Kansas State. Now, I realize OU lost to Kansas State, but it was a competitive game.
Yeah.
Missouri lost 40-12. So I can't even imagine what Georgia's going to do then. By the way, Auburn's coach, will he last the end of the year, you think, or will he be fired?
He's going to start winning some games.
How are they going to win? They're awful. I mean,
they really are.
They
won 2, 3. They've won 3, haven't they?
They're 3-1, but their next 3 games are LSU, at Georgia, at Mississippi.
Okay, that's 3 and 4.
Then they have Arkansas at home.
I doubt it.
They go to Mississippi State.
Nope.
They got A&M at home.
Nope.
They got Western Kentucky at home.
There's one. Well, I don't know. They're pretty dang good.
And then they go to Bama. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
He's looking 4 or 5 and out the door.
He's out.
Yeah, he'll have it. He's probably got a good buyout, though. Don't feel sorry for him.
Well, I don't feel. I'm not saying I feel sorry for him. I'm just saying he's going to be gone. This is another absolutely massive game. North Carolina State 4-0, Clemson 4-0, top 10 matchup here. North Carolina State is taking care of business to get to this point. Clemson a 7-point favorite, very similar to last week. They were 6.5, 7-point favorites at Wake. Now they're at home.
Yep.
What do you think?
Well, I think North Carolina State's better than Wake Forest because they're defensively pretty good. Their quarterback's good too. I give them a shot in this one. But again, same lines as I'm going with Mississippi State. Until NC State goes into Clemson and beats them, I got to take Clemson. Now the line is 7. That's a little bit tricky. I think Clemson will cover that, but just barely. So I think this will be a good game. Wouldn't be surprised if North Carolina State plays that a little closer than 7.
I think the line is about right. North Carolina State's not going to win.
No.
But I do think the line's about right. I'm going to take the Wolfpack plus the 7 here. I'm with you. I think they'll stop them better than Wake Forest stopped them, but I don't think they quite have the offense that Wake Forest had. No. And that's no knock on Devin Leary. I like him, and I think they can put up points, but this will probably be more like a 28-24 type of game.
Exactly. Last week was what, 51-45?
Yeah.
I'm thinking this could even be 24-17,
Yep.
So
exactly.
But it's going to be a great game, and I don't know. I don't have my book in front of me. I don't know if they're in separate. I think they're in the same side, aren't they? In the ACC, I'm almost sure they are.
Yeah, they are. They're on the same side.
Yeah, so this could be an elimination game for whoever represents that side in the ACC.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, Dennis is right. It's just a really fun week. It's not what you don't have like the crazy heavy hitting matchups, but every game it's like, oh, that could go either way, Well,
I think we're getting to the point now where we're going to start separating a little bit.
Yeah.
This is what this weekend is. It's kind of get a little separation between the haves and the wannabes.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, let's move on. Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh. Here's a have not. Georgia Tech's awful. Pittsburgh, they're having a nice little season so far. They don't slip up here, right?
No. No. If they do, they may have to fire the coach after this game because Tech is not very good.
Yeah, I think Georgia Tech, they're just playing for next year for now. So, yeah I'm going to go Pittsburgh. I think they'll cover that. USC, another team that's awful. Not USC, but Arizona State comes in to the Coliseum. 25.5-point favorites for the Trojans. This is another one. It looks pretty lopsided to me.
Yep. Long night for the Sun Devils.
Yep. And then Stanford and Oregon. Oregon coming off of a nice couple of weeks. They're a 17-point favorite against Stanford. They have not looked great. Talking about Stanford, I think is another one. I think Oregon will cover as long as they show up, play a decent game.
Yep. I agree. Let's move on.
Well, that's it. That's all for the ranked opponents. Do you have any other ones you want to talk about real quick before we go to the NFL?
Let me go here. All right. My number one best bet is Kentucky over Ole Miss. That's my number one. Let's see. What else have I got? Little nuggets here. Okay, here's a good one. Indiana is at Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska's a 5-point favorite. I like Indiana plus the 5. I don't know where they win, but I don't see any way Nebraska can win unless it's close.
It's two really bad teams. I would probably lean Indiana with the points. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me throw this one out here. Now, this is kind of a fringe game.
Okay.
San Jose State goes to Wyoming, a team that's not bad. And San Jose State's 3-point favorite. I like the Cowboys to win that game.
Let me quickly look at who San Jose State has been playing. Have not looked this one up. Well, San Jose State lost at Auburn. They did beat Western Michigan. I have watched the Cowboys quite a bit. Yeah, I would probably take the Cowboys in that one.
Okay. How about this one? Iowa State at Kansas.
Yeah, read this one. Go ahead.
Iowa State, 3-point favorite.
Why?
I don't know. I'm going with the Jayhawks. That place will be crazy.
I believe the Jayhawks win that one outright. Yeah.
Yeah, they're 3-point underdogs. I ran into a Jayhawks fan out in Colorado, and he's heading home as fast as he can because he's going to the game. And he said he didn't think they'd win, but he's a longtime suffering KU football fan. And I said, I think you will. And he goes, well, I play in Iowa State. And I said, they're down. And they're coming off that tough physical game against Baylor. They're going to have to play pretty well to beat Kansas.
Can you explain to me something? Why is Iowa State getting these lines?
They were favored against Baylor.
Yeah, and that was your best bet last week, and it was never in doubt.
No. I don't know.
Now they're favored against Kansas on the road.
Yeah. After
getting dominated. I would be surprised if Iowa State beats them.
I will too.
Yep.
Yeah. I like this one too. Now, Dennis, don't get mad at me because I'm picking your team. Louisville's at Boston College. I think they win. 14 points. I don't know.
Louisville's look better.
Yeah.
Boston College is not great, but on the road, yeah, I can probably side with Boston College.
I do think they're going to win, though.
It's a lot of points.
All right. How about this one? Okay. Illinois playing pretty well. Should be undefeated. +7 against Wisconsin that's struggling. It's at Wisconsin, I know.
Can't touch it. Illinois. No. I don't agree. I don't bet that one.
I don't like Wisconsin at all.
I don't like it. Illinois, I think, has some talent, but they don't think they can win.
Okay.
They went to Indiana and absolutely just blew the game.
After that, though.
Yeah, but they're not going to go to Wisconsin.
It's not my favorite, but I just want to jump out at me a little.
Yeah.
This one really jumped out at me. I'm a little worried about one aspect of this. Michigan State at Maryland. Michigan State, 7.5-point favorite.
Give me Maryland.
Huh?
Give me Maryland.
Yeah. The only thing that worries me, can Maryland bounce back from the close game they played against the Wolverines last week? But I don't think Michigan State's any good.
No, it's at home. Give me Maryland.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. All right, that's my ones to look at in the college game.
Yeah. All right. Well, there it is. I like it. I liked most of those. Like I said, the only one I would just totally say, don't bet Illinois. Don't do it.
Well, I went. I do this every week, and not last week, but the week before I was awful. I was like 2-7, I think, on these. Last week I was 7-2.
Yeah.
Well, I had a good week with these last week, so we'll see how they go tomorrow.
Well, we had a great Saturday last week.
Yeah,
an epic Saturday last week. So hopefully this continues.
OU game.
Yeah. Other than that. All right. Well, we already had a game. We talked about the Miami Cincinnati game. Let's run through these NFL games. We won't spend a ton of time on them.
No, they're don't you?
Impossible. Yeah. Well, let's get the jet. Let's go over to London and let's talk about the Vikings and the Saints here in London. A little 8:30 kickoff. So get up early Sunday to watch this one. Minnesota, a 3-point favorite. Andy Dalton going to be the quarterback for the Saints as injury to Jameis Winston, he's been playing hurt all year. Right. All right, Papa Dude. What do you think about this matchup?
Don't you know the players and the coaches hate the fact they've got to go to London?
I would think.
How do they pick who's going? Do they just draw these teams out of a hat? How do they do that?
I don't know how that's done because a lot of teams I've never seen go. So I don't know how that's done.
I don't either. And one of these teams loses. Well, they both lose a possibility of a home game.
Right.
So I don't get it. But they probably pay them NFL probably pays them a heck of a lot of money to go over there. Well, if Andy Dalton is playing, why is the line only 3?
I think this is big time Vikings win here.
Me too. I didn't know I've been out of the loop. I didn't know Andy Dalton was playing, or this would be one of my best bets. I think the Vikings, unless they're sick about the Queen dying or something, I think the Vikings will cover that 3 points. They should.
Listen, there's some weird things that happen on these overseas games, but the Saints are in big trouble. They're just not looking very good. So lock it in now. I think that's going to go up. Go to Vikings minus the 3.
Okay.
Cleveland and Atlanta. You read those two teams. It's like, oh God, what's going to happen here? Cleveland a 1-point favorite on the road here in Atlanta. Mariota and the Falcons, they did get a win last week.
They did.
And they get another one this week.
Okay, Cleveland's supposed to be good, right?
I don't think so.
1-point favorite over the Falcons. Oh, I think the other interesting one is the over-under on that, 47. Now, Atlanta did score some points last week at Seattle, but I like the under on that as well. I think the Browns. I mean, if you like the Falcons, take the Falcons because the points don't mean much. So I like the Browns and 1 point. I'm going Cleveland.
I'm going to go Atlanta.
Well, you've seen the Browns lose these kind of games.
This is the type of game they lose because they're coming off a big win, and this would be an even bigger one. To get to 3-1, give me Atlanta. They'll beat them. I've seen it too many times. Like I told you last week when it was 3rd and 16, and you're like, we may get the ball back. I said, no, I've seen this movie way too many times. We're not getting the ball back.
That's true.
And I've seen that movie where the Browns lose a game they should win. So, yeah, and Dennis is right. They'll miss an extra point to lose.
Probably, yeah.
Or the Falcons could also miss an extra point. I wouldn't be surprised either. So take the +1 just in case that happens. All right, let's go. Commanders and the Cowboys. Cowboys getting right. They're 2-1 now. Cooper Rush slinging that ball around. 3-point favorites at home. Can they win a game they're supposed to win?
You know, it's hilarious. I was listening to some stuff on the way home today on Sirius Radio, and everybody in Dallas now wants to get rid of Dak Prescott. This guy is better than Dak Prescott after 2 games. You should have heard some of the calls coming in like, I've been to every Dallas home game, and I sit in the end zone where I can watch these plays develop, and Dak just isn't accurate. He doesn't get that ball to the receivers where they can catch it and run with it. Cooper can do it. He's hitting those guys right in the hands, and they're making yards after the catch. I love Dak, but it's time for him to go. And I'm saying, okay, the guy's played 2 games. People are crazy. And I'm not a huge Dak Prescott fan, but I'm not ready to say this guy is as good as him. 3-point favorite. They should win. But like you said, can they do it when they should? I've got to stick with Dallas because they're at home.
If you watch the Dudes Who Bet Daily show on Wednesday, my bold statement was the Cowboys are better off with Cooper Rush at quarterback.
I'm not willing to say that yet.
I just let you go. I thought, this will be great when I say that. Look, here's the deal. I don't know if they're better off or not, but he's a solid backup. He has proven that he can come in and he can make some throws and keep them in games. Yeah. That'll be good enough to beat the Commanders. I think Dallas wins pretty easily.
Another point those guys made that were on there, I don't even know who it was. They said, when you got a backup quarterback playing, and let's say they like him, the team likes him, everybody else plays harder.
Correct.
They got to do stuff to help the guy. So
that's 100% what's happening. They're all playing a little bit better. They've stepped up their game. Everybody's a little sharper, and he's not making mistakes. That's the key, right? Like he hasn't made the big mistake yet. So therefore, the listen, if you're in the NFL and you're a quarterback and you can hit open guys and not make mistakes, the offense, usually if you've got some players around you, will move the ball. That you've got great players usually in the NFL around you. So that's kind of what's going on, I think, with Dallas. We'll see. We'll see if they can keep it up. All right, another interesting game. Seattle and the Lions. Listen, the Lions came through for us last week, all right? So I don't want to hear any Lions bad-mouthing. I don't think Seattle's very good.
Nope.
The Lions are 3.5-point favorites. I'm taking the Lions. What about you?
I am too. They've shown some offense. This is crazy. This is a big game for them. They can get to 500 after 4 games. And they're usually looking 0-4 after 4 games. They can get to 2-2. They've got the last place schedule. They're not bad. This is a huge game if you're a Detroit Lions fan. No doubt about it.
They need to win it. They need to win it. I hope they do.
Got to win. They have to win this game. I mean, all right, if you're going to try to get over the hump, which they're trying to do, this is a game you got to win. You have to win it.
Do it for magic. Do it for magic. All right, let's move on. Titans and the Colts. 3.5-point favorites are the Colts after beating the Chiefs last week. Oh, boy. What do you think? Titans beat the Raiders. Maybe they're kind of back in this thing a little bit. What do you think about this one?
Well, it's a toughie. This is really a hard one. I think the Colts got right last week. 3.5. This could be like, I don't know, 21-20. You know, this is going to be tight. That half point, like Dennis said a while ago, because I think this is a field goal game. So I may have to go with the Titans, but I think Indy wins.
Give me the Titans plus that 3.5. At home, I am not laying 3.5 points with the Indianapolis Colts. That is not going to happen. Give me the Titans plus 3.5. If I miss it, at least I can sleep at night. So I'm taking.
I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, well, I know. All right, I'm taking the Titans. All right, Bears and Giants. Giants, a 3-point favorite at home, coming off that loss to the Cowboys. Bears, I mean, they're a strange bunch, to say the least. Both are 2-1 somehow. Who's going to become 3-1 in this spot?
Look at the under, 39.5. Boy, this is going to be a fun game to watch, isn't it?
You've watched these two teams play, and I have 3 weeks now. These offenses are atrocious.
They really are. I'm taking the Giants simply because they're at home. That's a tough loss the other night, though. Can they come back after that? But the Bears are just inept. I'm tempted to take the under, but that's an awful low total. So I'm going to take the Giants, and I think they cover.
These teams just are bad at quarterback. I'm sorry. They are. I'm going to take the Bears plus the 3. I just am. Daniel Jones is just awful. And the Bears aren't much better, but I don't know. I'm going to take the Bears plus the 3. We'll give it a shot. Jaguars and the Eagles. Eagles 6.5-point favorites. Guess what? The Philadelphia Eagles are the only undefeated team left. And they could get knocked off by the Jaguars, who should be undefeated. They lost to the Commanders, or they would be undefeated. Eagles are 6.5-point favorite here. What do you think?
How much money could you have made is after 3 weeks you would have said the Philadelphia Eagles would be the only undefeated team in the NFL?
You know, I actually saw it, and I don't know what it was, but it was a huge odds.
Yeah. Odds. I think Jacksonville might beat them. I really do. I'm taking Jacksonville plus the 6.5 is too much. I think this is an up-and-coming team. The Eagles could have a little bit of a letdown, maybe. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville wins. I'm going to back up, and I'm going to say I think Philly's going to win, but it wouldn't surprise me if Jacksonville wins. So I'm going to take Jacksonville plus the 6.5.
I'm going to take the Eagles minus the 6.5. We don't like any of the same games.
Well, I'm telling you, this pro stuff, you get 50 people in a room, 25 is going one way and 25 is going the other.
Yeah.
You can make a case for either team.
I just want to shout out real quick, Dr. Tang. Many people in the race news community know who Dr. Tang is. Sometimes he comments on this show, sometimes on Magic Mike or Blinkers Off. He hit the golden hour pick 4 and the daily double, golden hour double $24,000 he just scooped out of the Golden Hour pick 4. So congratulations to Dr. Tang. Kind of having a big day. He also hit the pick 5 at Belmont for 7,800. So
yeah,
pretty good day for the doctor. So congratulations to Dr. Tang. Just got that message.
Pretty good.
Very, very good. Yeah. And he probably healed cancer patients.
That's
too.
right. I thought you were going to say he saved 6 lives today.
I don't know what he did there, but surely he did. All right, let's move on to the Jets and the Steelers. Oh, another great game. Make sure to record this one. The Steelers are a 3.5-point favorite. Zach Wilson's back for the Jets. Doesn't matter. What do you think?
Boy, this is 2 really good teams, isn't it? What a matchup.
These games are just atrocious.
They are. And the scores have just been so low in almost all of these games. They really have.
Hey, these offenses are horrific.
They're really bad.
Now the Bills are really good. The Ravens, we'll talk about them in a minute. Chiefs still are decent. A lot of these offenses suck.
They're terrible.
Yep.
I'm going Jets. I think they're going to. I think they're going to beat the Steelers. I think Pittsburgh's terrible.
Jets.
I'm going the Jets.
Me too. Plus 3.5.
All right.
I don't think they'll beat them, but they're going to keep it close. Give me those Jets, man. They're ready to fight. Cougar Hunter's back. All right. Wish Jason was here. All right. Let's go to the Bills and the Ravens. This is game of the week, I think. No doubt. Both teams 2-1. These are 2 offenses that are really putting up points. The Bills got a couple extra days that the Miami Dolphins didn't get to kind of recover from that game, but still tough. Got to go to Baltimore. Bills are a 3-point favorite in Baltimore. What do you think?
If it was more than that, I would take the Ravens, but I love the Bills. And they did get knocked around down there at Miami. They could have won that game. I don't know how good the Ravens defense is. So I'm going to go the Bills to cover.
I like the Bills as well. I picked them here. I think it'll be a good game. Could go either way. Not going to be surprised either way, but I'm going to go with the Bills. I think they're going to get it done. I think they'll bounce back. All right, Chargers and the Texans. Another exciting one, folks. The Chargers, the old hapless Chargers, they go on the road to Houston, but the Chargers are a 5.5-point favorite. They've got to win. They got to get the season turned around, but can they?
I wouldn't bet a nickel on them.
No.
That 5.5? No. I don't. All right, I'll make a prediction. They either win by 30 or it comes down to a field goal at the end of the game. Because I just and Houston might be the one that kicks the field goal. I mean, Houston's awful. There's just no way a team with the talent that the Chargers have should struggle with Houston. But I can't. I'm staying away. I cannot. You can't rely on them.
No, I'm not touching this game. Because here's the deal. It's a trap. We've got trap written all over it. Chargers, my God, they should kill Houston. No, they won't. You know they won't.
No, and you still don't know how healthy Herbert is.
No, stay away from it. You got all this shit to play all weekend. Don't do that one.
It's shit to play, is right.
Stay the hell away from that game.
Speaking of shit, here we go.
Yeah, here it is. I mean, the Panthers, I don't know if they could move the ball on a college team or not. It would be questionable. The Cardinals, I don't know if their head coach could coach a mighty might team. This is going to get interesting. Both teams are 1-2. Carolina 1-point favorite in this game.
Well, if the Panthers might be able to move the ball on these guys, maybe. I'm going to go with the Panthers simply because I'm rooting for them more than I am the Cardinals. And it's only a point. And they're at home.
Give me the Cardinals.
The only thing is, Arizona plays better on the road than they do at home. That's how screwed up they are.
Because here's the deal. I think Arizona can score some points. And I don't know. Carolina, I've watched almost all their games. They are horrible.
I know.
Baker Mayfield, he's lost all of his confidence. He is horrific. They can't really run. I mean, their defense is decent. It'll hold them in the game, but I'm going to go Arizona. I think they'll win.
All right.
All right. What is Ian going to be there by that time? I think it's hitting right now. So it might be out of there by the time they play.
Yeah, I'd say it would.
Yeah, I think it hit the Carolinas today. So, and it's just a lot of rain now. So, of course, that would affect a football game for sure. All right, Patriots and the Packers. Packers are 9.5-point favorites. A lot of points against the Patriots, but I'm not sure the Patriots. I guess Hoyer is going to play at quarterback for them. I don't know if that makes any difference or not. But
who's the quarterback?
Hoyer will be the quarterback because Mac Jones is out for weeks, I would say. I don't know. I guess the Packers are probably going to cover, right?
I think so. Although they're having trouble putting up points too. New England's just bad. They're just bad. So yeah, I think they'll cover.
The Broncos, who are just a train wreck, but somehow they're 2-1.
2-1. Take
on the Raiders, who are like a plane wreck. They're worse than a train wreck. They are abysmal. They're 0-3. They're the only 0-3 team there. They're favored in this game. They're -2.5. By the way, it costs $194 for a ticket to watch this game. I wouldn't give $1 to watch this game.
Nope.
What do you think about this? What is going to happen in this one?
What can you possibly think about it? Who has any idea what's going to happen?
I don't know.
I mean,
Denver is the most in turmoil 2-1 team ever.
I had Denver and the 49ers under the other night. And I think it was 42, 43. And they scored 21 points. It was the easiest bet I ever made, I think. There was no doubt about that one from the get-go.
Never. It was never threatened.
No.
And it wasn't one of those games where, oh, shit, they fumbled a few times and this and that. No, they just neither one of them could move it. You've been in Colorado.
Huh?
What are they saying about Denver? You've been in Colorado.
They're not saying anything, which is unusual.
Yeah.
Because it's Denver Bronco crazy out there, and there's no talk whatsoever about them. You hear some stuff about their coach, but that's about it. So they're not enthused at all. Would you bet against the Raiders in this one? I don't think I can. I think I'm going to have to take the Raiders to beat them.
This is another one. Stay far away.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know. I think I would lean Broncos, but
under in this.
I would go under 45.
Yeah, because you got to think Denver can't score 15 or 16 or 17. There's no way.
Yeah. Mark says the punter and the kicker. That's the MVP for Denver. Eli agrees. Yeah, Dennis said, hey, he did not think Russell Wilson would do much. He thinks he's been washed up for 5 years. He looks like garbage. He's such a weird dude. I just never followed this guy until this year.
I thought he was losing it in Seattle too. I thought they paid him way too much money. But anyway, we'll see. It's only 3 weeks. He may get going.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, final game we'll talk about. We'll talk about the Monday night game on the Monday show. Let's talk about the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. This is now even, so that's very interesting. It's a true toss-up game, so I think the line's about right here. What do you think? The Chiefs get right, or do the Buccaneers get right? Each coming off losses.
How do you pick this one?
I don't know.
Now, Evans will be back for Tampa, correct?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to say this. The loser, well, it's way too early to say this with these two teams, but the loser of this game is in a little trouble. Does that make sense? I think Tampa more than Kansas City if the Bucs lose this one.
Okay, I'm going to push back on it.
Okay.
Tampa might make the playoffs going 8-9.
That's true.
That division is a joke.
It is. You're right.
Yeah. Now, the Chiefs, that division doesn't look very good right now either. So,
yeah. Well, I was just going on the fact that I think Tampa's on the edge right now. I think Brady's on the edge right now. This would be 2 straight losses to top flight teams at home. Psychologically, I'm thinking they could dip a little. Maybe not. I don't know. The Chiefs, we saw what they did last year. They got off to a horrible start and they rebounded. Mm-hmm. Who's played the best out of these? Tampa's not been impressive. The Chiefs had one real impressive game, but turns out the Cardinals aren't very good. They should have lost to the Chargers, and they weren't very good last week against Indianapolis, and they don't have that dynamic offense at the moment. And Tampa's defense is good, very good. So I have no idea, Aaron. No idea whatsoever. I don't know any way to go in this. I don't. You just take the team you like, I think, because it's even. So there's no point spread to mess with. The over-under's sketchy because of Mahomes, but you've got burned on Mahomes, and he doesn't look very good. I think the Chiefs are better, but I don't know whether they'll win. If I had to pick somebody, I think I'd pick the Chiefs.
I would pick the Chiefs because I'm really down on Tampa. I just don't think that's going to work. But boy, there's a lot of shit about disruption in that Kansas City locker room this week too. So I don't know what to believe.
Well, I haven't been home. I just saw a little bit. He being Mahomes, him and the offensive coordinator got into it, didn't they?
Yeah.
In India, has there been some scuttlebutt about that I missed?
Yeah, a little bit. Just kind of, just it's not that big of a deal, blah, blah, blah. But there's been tension supposedly between those two for a while. So kind of take that for what it's worth.
When you lose games, that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're a quarterback like Mahomes, and I'm not knocking Mahomes at all, that's struggling.
Yeah.
He's struggling, and it bothers him. He is a competitor. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
And he's not satisfied with the way things are going. And he's going to get frustrated because he is a competitor. So, he wants to win. And I could see how he would be very, very frustrated. The Chiefs cannot run the ball, and they don't have but one receiver right now that's doing anything.
Yep.
And you can't win against quality opponents when you have that situation. So, but on the other hand, I think we could say the same thing for Tampa. The problem with Tampa, Fournette is a good runner for tough yards, but he can't break anything.
Yeah.
And then Brady has no receivers to throw to.
Yeah.
So, that's what makes the game. I don't know how do you pick this one. I really don't.
A lot of people saying it. Mark saying it. Dennis saying it. Tyreek, they're missing him. No doubt about it.
Well, we knew they would.
Yeah.
And there's so many issues that with Tyreek that they just decided they didn't want to put that much money into a guy who's not trustworthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a tough decision for them to make. But they didn't go out and get any receivers. I thought they'd try to get a receiver,
Yeah. They didn't. No, they didn't get – they got Juju, and that's not going to work.
No. So. They needed a Devontae Adams or somebody like, somebody that can stretch the field.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could have got him, but the Chiefs are an organization that's pretty dadgum smart.
Yep.
And they're in this for the long haul. They're not going to mortgage the future for a guy like Hill, who, while a tremendous talent, is a little questionable character-wise.
Yeah. No, and that's right. And I think end of the day, like I said, you can survive it, but you got to go get another guy. You can't just be like, well, we'll get rid of him. No big deal. You got to go get another player. And so we'll see. Maybe they can get somebody developed this year. It's still very early, like you said.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But they're not.
Dr. Tang coming in, and congratulations again. Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow, that was quite a deal.
Honestly, I think he should probably give me a loan. And by a loan, meaning just give me some money, and I don't give it back.
Yeah. Well, he's it's nice to have a good doctor on your side.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, that's right.
He might be able to give you a better rate, if you ever need. Of course, you want to hope you never need. He specializes it.
No offense to Dr. Tang, but I hope I never see you in a professional setting.
No, not in a doctor's office.
No.
Not for a consultation, no.
Looking very forward to seeing you at Keeneland in a few weeks, but no, I don't want to go out and to your office. So
on the racetrack, fine.
Yes.
I'd love to see you, but not in professional work.
Correct.
His profession. Your profession, fine. His profession, No.
Yeah. Two very different atmospheres there. Oh man. All right. That's it. That's all the games we got for this week. We've got it all covered. Anything you want to close with tonight?
I don't know. What time is it?
It is 7:46. It's past your bedtime, probably.
Yeah, what do you mean you agree with us?
He agrees that he doesn't want to see us in his profession. Yeah.
I would like to meet you though, but not in that situation for sure.
No.
Well, see, I've been on mountain time, so
Yes.
I lost an hour on the way home. Well, actually, yesterday. I'm a little tired, but we made a trip, crowded it in too few a days, but we didn't have much time.
Yeah.
So glad we went, but we should have stayed one more night. But I have obligations, so I had to get home for this.
Exactly. I'm trying to look here. Magic has some stored up questions. So if you don't have any, I've got one.
Well, I've got a couple, but they're not very good.
Well, let's see what Magic's got. Let me see if
I don't ever answer.
A good one. What's your must-watch holiday movies and TV specials?
Well, the movie is easy.
Okay.
It's not even close. Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase, and that's my favorite. I don't even hesitate on that.
See, Marla's happy you're back. So that's one person. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely Christmas Vacation.
Yes. TV specials. I'm trying to think.
Now, here's a holiday movie my wife
loves. All right.
And she loves it so much that we watched the sequel today. As soon as it came out, the sequel came out. Yes, Sandy is correct. Hocus Pocus. She loves it. So Hocus Pocus 2 came out on Disney Plus today.
See.
She has been counting down for months. We finally watched it. Or well, I say finally. It finally was out today. We watched it. It was not great.
I can't imagine that.
Who do you see?
There is the meanest cat. Not mean.
Oh.
The orneriest cat.
No.
This cat loves water.
Yes, you do.
I've seen a cat that liked water.
Yeah. Oh.
And knows how to get under his mama's skin.
Oh, yes.
That would be heavy. And I think the cat does it on purpose. So
she is a ball, I tell you. And she came in here meowing, so I said, "Okay, get up on my lap."
Over there. TV special. I don't know. Oh, here we go.
So, yeah,
I agree.
Sandy watched it. Mark said his wife's watching it right now. I know my sister-in-law is watching it right now as well. Mark, yeah, it's
a female thing.
Listen, I didn't like the first one. I didn't like the second one. The second one's even worse.
I thought that's what she was watching. I saw her there watching something that looked like Hocus Pocus, and I thought, holy cow, you watch anything. So the TV.
Marla says the Christmas Card. What is that?
I don't know.
I don't think I've watched that, Marla.
Christmas Card. It sounds familiar.
The Christmas Card.
Now, I don't like the Grinch that well. Now that would be a TV special for you. You used to watch that all the time.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Does Charlie Brown Christmas count as a TV special?
Absolutely.
I haven't seen that in a few years, but I used to watch that every year. I thought that was pretty good.
I don't know what Family Stone is.
She knows every movie that's ever.
I don't know what that is.
How about Elf?
Christmas Card is a Hallmark movie. No, I've never. Elf. I hated Elf.
I didn't like it at all either. I was very, very, very disappointed in Elf.
Stupid. It's dumb.
Yeah, I was disappointed in Elf. I was kind of looking forward. I tell you what I did like. This is a bad Christmas movie. Bad Santa.
Oh, I love Bad Santa. It's great. One of the best of all time. One of my favorites.
I love Billy Bob Thornton. I think he's just fantastic in just about anything. He's kind of retired, hadn't he? I haven't seen him in anything lately.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a long time. I don't know where he's at.
Well, there's no telling he could be. I always thought he didn't have to act. I always thought these were kind of his characters,
Right. It was himself. Yeah.
Yeah. But the other night we were talking about movies on the Daily Show, and I forgot one. Now that we mentioned Billy Bob, and that's Sling Blade.
Oh, that is a good one.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That was some acting in that movie.
Sling Blade's a great movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
He was. I don't know if he won an Academy Award for that, but he should have. Yeah, Mark's on it.
Mr. Woodcock, did you watch that?
I loved it.
It was funny. Bad News Bears, he's hilarious.
Yeah, but I'm so old that the other Bad News Bears still takes the cake for me.
No, I would rather watch the other one too.
Yeah.
But he was funny in that.
Oh, he was hilarious. He was just great in that.
She's
But
back.
that Sling Blade, I can watch that movie over and over and over again. That was good.
Mr. Woodcock was fantastic.
Yeah. Oh God, that was so funny. We've all had a PE teacher kind of like that.
Oh yeah. Some say you.
I never did get to teach PE enough to actually get that one. But I've had PE teachers like that though. So
yes. Yeah, like I said, we all have. We all have for sure.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
All right. Well, nothing else, I don't think. I looked through the other. We've used a lot of these other ones that he's got on here. So
Okay, one more just quickly.
Okay.
Who would be the ideal celebrity neighbor?
Ideal celebrity neighbor.
Celebrity could be anybody that you would like to have as your neighbor.
Oh my gosh, what a great question.
I haven't even thought about this. A celebrity neighbor.
Yeah. Let's see.
I can't think of anybody really.
Celebrity neighbor.
There's so many.
Gosh, what a great question. I don't have an answer. I'd have to really think about that one.
It just comes to my mind for some odd reason. I think the guy that played Jim in The Office would be a good neighbor.
He would be a good neighbor. That's a good one. That's a random ass one, but a good one.
I don't know. I was thinking of shows I watch, and I wouldn't want Michael Scott. He'd drive you crazy from The Office. I wouldn't want him.
No. That's it. With a neighbor, I don't want to see him very often.
No, and I think Jim would be perfect.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees, okay, but he doesn't know why.
What about O.J. Simpson, Mark says?
Huh?
What about O.J.?
Mark is back in true form here. Oh, God.
I would hate Oprah being my neighbor.
Oh.
I'd get annoyed. Gosh. Man. No, I would not want Miranda Lambert either. She's a bitch. I don't like her. Gosh. Boy, that's hard. I don't know.
I can't. I'm trying to. I'm like you. I have the perfect neighbor right now. See, people are saying Oprah would give you free gifts.
Yeah. Bunch of freeloaders on this channel.
Here's another way to look at it. If you were Oprah's neighbor, you would be loaded.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So that's one way to look at it. Yeah. How about Raymond from Everybody Loves Raymond?
No, he's annoying.
Oh, you think he's annoying?
Yes.
Okay.
I hear that voice. I'd get old after a while.
Oh, how about Jerry from Seinfeld?
No, too weird.
I don't think he'd bother you at all. I don't think
wouldn't bother you, but I see him out.
You would want Kramer.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I just found that about 5 minutes before the show, and I thought I really haven't thought about it either. You talk about some sports celebrities that you might, but
you know who'd be awesome, actually?
Who's that?
I think Bob Stoops would be a great neighbor.
Probably.
Because he'd leave you alone, but if you needed to help him, like help you cut down a tree or something, I think he could come over and do it.
Yeah, he's very normal.
Yeah, Bob Stoops. That's my pick.
Thought about him.
Yeah, I think he'd be awesome.
Yeah, leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. But if you need me, holler.
Yeah, and if you said, "Hey, Bob, you want to come over and watch Monday Night Football?" He'd be like, "Yeah, all right, let's do it." I think it'd be fantastic.
Not about that, but anyway, I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, I'm sure we're going to think of some more Wesley stuff.
Mark says Wesley Snipes. He can help me with my tax returns. So that's. Oh, never change, Mark. Never change. All right,
you came in too late, Mark. You're always comic relief.
Yeah. And I need it right now because Houston just fumbled and Tulane took it all the way back for a touchdown. So.
Oh, gosh.
That's great. All right. We're getting out of here. I'm going to go.
All right, guys.
Beat myself over the head. All right, guys. We're going to leave. We got a lot going on. We got Slim and his buddy coming on in an hour to talk about stuff with the NFL, player props, and God knows what. And so that'll be fun. And then we've got a live show tomorrow covering all the big races, so that'll be fun as well. So a lot going on, guys.
Races are there tomorrow?
What's that?
Are there big races tomorrow?
There are a bunch of big races tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, when is this Dudes Who Bet Daily? Is it at 10?
Dudes Who Bet Daily at 10 o'clock tomorrow. 10 Central.
Yeah. Central.
So tune in for that. We're going to need to get going because I don't think this Houston bet's going to cash. So,
all right, guys. When's UCLA?
UCLA coming on in an hour and a half.
Oh man, I'll never make it through that one. Probably
you'll be fast asleep when that.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. Rich Strike wins tomorrow. That's right. Yeah. All right, we're getting out. See y'all later.
Excellent.
This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Holderman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.